So according to the FCC, they're claiming about 88% of people in the United States have some access or more access to DSL internet with providers. So pretty looks that way, I would say, at least in the Western regions where it's a little more spread out, we do see a bit more of copper and DSL reliance as we do in the East, where it's a little more concentrated and we see a little more growth in fiber connectivity. Some updates within VDSL2 or VDSL. So Nokia and Proximus engineers have teamed up and created a new technology that's allowing for twice as many customers to be connected to a single street cabinet. And now we're talking about adding new DSLAMs in the mix. They're just talking about this new technology they call 2MX6, which allows for increase or doubling the amount of VDSL ports and connections out there. So this new chipset, Kulian, this company is bringing this out, has partnered up with Nokia to take advantage of this and still provide the ability of increasing the amount and utilizing that copper plant that you already have out there and help reduce power consumption as well as allowing for more connected devices. So you ask yourself that question, why DSL and Wi-Fi 6? We've really been pushing the envelope on fiber to the home, and utilizing Wi-Fi 6 seems to go hand in hand with that. But still, we do see, even though there's a steady decline year over year with DSL, VDSL is really still a predominant player with that copper plant. If you have that ability to continue to support it, and why not upgrade that endpoint device that you have, that CPE? CPEs right now, they're probably still in the Wi-Fi 4 or the Wi-Fi 5 range, and really, you want to be able to provide your subscribers and potential new customers with some latest and greatest equipment within their home, utilizing a wireless type of connection. And having an all-in-one CPE with the VDSL2, the ability of Ethernet to make that transition over, and then that new technology really helps out. So that's why we still see the need for this type of product in our environment. So those benefits of combining the two, the VDSL2 and the Wi-Fi 6, well, really, obviously, the latest and greatest technology, more connected devices, about 4 times the amount that we had before. And with the advent of the mesh within the homes, and I'm not talking just the retail, I'm talking about provider grade mesh for your subscribers, the ability to port that technology over. Also with Wi-Fi 6, it helps improve the life of the battery time within those mobile devices, which I would say 60, 70% more are being utilized now in our homes. So that translates into a quality of service for your subscribers because they can have more uptime connecting to the Wi-Fi. And improvements with the security, as well as WPA3 is starting to make its way out and rolling out into the different products with Wi-Fi 6. And, utilizing VDSL2, keeping those bandwidths high, and the ability of utilizing profiles like 17A and the 35B to really bring that. And to improve on that quality of that connection, the vectoring that we've used in the past and the G.IMP really help out. And the ability to be backwards compatible. We still have a reliance in certain serving areas where you need ADSL, ADSL2 plus, and we want to be able to support that. So really, it comes down to the distribution within the home. And what are your subscribers actually doing with that? And what can you provide them with the means and the tools to be able to do that? It's all about those speeds and feeds, really, regardless of what your internet connection is. And here we're specifically talking about copper and DSL, right? VDSL2, whether it's in a single pair or bonded, you have that connection. And the ranges from, 4,000, 3,000, 4,000 feet. We're talking about 50, 60, 70 megabits or so. Maybe if you can double that with bonding, you can get a little bit more performance. But really, it comes down to what's going on in the home and how that's distributed. A lot of new devices that are being added. The average homes have at least 25 devices or more. And a lot of that is tribute to what we're doing. So just to take the kitchen, the modern updated digital kitchen, refrigerators, right? The oven, stove, as well as microwaves. Believe it or not, microwave with Wi-Fi enabled and an app to control it, but they have it. We have it. And people want to rely on it. Obviously, one of the main things is the ability of streaming content, right? From over the top is huge. Those days of the old set-top box and video are just going to the side, and over the top is really taking place. So if you have those sticks or those little Roku streamer or even the Xbox, you can do all that over the top content with your Wi-Fi. And the ability to be in different rooms. You want to be in your own room playing your games or whatever you're doing. Maybe you're just relaxing in the bedroom, but you still want Wi-Fi connectivity. And then those of you who are very fortunate to have converted your basement into a luxurious living space, you want Wi-Fi down there as well. You may have an office, you may have just everybody congregating there, and the ability of bringing Wi-Fi there is important, as well as that workshop. So the workshop is just not that standalone area anymore. It's the digital workshop, right? We want Wi-Fi in those areas because we want to be able to look at videos. We're taking apart different things, engines and creating things within the home. We want to be able to look at those on YouTube and stream them to maybe a television instead of just a phone. And then finally, outdoor living, right? So we're going to be outside on the porch, patio, backyard, front yard. You want to have that connectivity cover everywhere. So it's the distribution, regardless of your DSL connection. It really comes down to what we're doing within the home and having your subscribers have a real immersive experience with that Wi-Fi, and utilizing something that with the latest and greatest like Wi-Fi 6 is really important. So those options for deployment still haven't really changed. It's either single family residential, or we look at the multi-dwelling, because there's a lot of opportunities there. As you can see, multiple compartments for multiple tenants have multiple needs for Wi-Fi and multiple needs for a product like DSL with Wi-Fi 6. So in the single family, the traditional setup in central office, whether it's over the aerial or in the cabinet, and then spread across the loop, depending on how many connections we get in that couple miles radius, and the ability of providing that connectivity. For multi-dwelling, a little bit different, still same premise from that central office into the basement, and then up the risers to those different apartments. And then from there, they can have their own tailored Wi-Fi 6 environment with that gateway and providing that latest and greatest connectivity for all the occupants in those apartments. So let's go to the first polling question. Rochelle, let's see what's going on here.
Absolutely. All right. Our first poll is, how important is it to have an integrated CPE with Wi-Fi and home networking? Very important. Somewhat important, nice to have but not necessary, and not interested. Let's see.
There we go. We got some activity. Thank you, folks. I really appreciate that. Let's see what's on your minds.
All right.
Okay. Whoa. Yeah, I would figure very important would probably be the most relevant there for that situation. Excellent. Thank you, folks, for participating. Let's continue. So let's get into our product. This is the AX6000 dual band Wi-Fi AX VDSL2 bonded gateway. This is called the DX4510. Now, some of you may have already kind of seen some information about this. So it's a VDSL2 with ADSL2 plus support. Also, the Profile 17A, whether you're in a single pair or a bonded connection, you can utilize that, as well as the ability of 35B. The 35B, which we'll talk about, gives you that single pair and higher bandwidths so you can be real comparable with your connections. It does support up to 5 LAN ports and that one special WAN port that can be utilized for an internet connection. So for a broadband fiber to the home, you make that transition from that product to a different technology, you can do that on the fly instantly within the product. Or if it's still true DSL connection, then you can utilize all 5 ports. We do have AX6000. That means it's rated up to 4,800 megabits on each of the bands. So that way, on the 5 gig, we have real high support, and 1100 or so on the 2.4. 8 radios are employed in this, so it really provides excellent coverage for those hard to reach areas. We do have mesh built into it with the MPRO Mesh, which we'll talk about, and it does provide a user-facing app that helps you see all the connection devices and kind of manage that device before they pick up the phone, call you for support. We do support the daisy chain virtual hop. So that means you can extend off extenders. So it gives you that real true mesh environment for service provide greater product and the ability of remote access. So you can access this anywhere you have Wi-Fi access on your mobile device. You can connect or mobile access on your device, and the support for broadband forum spec tier 69. So a quick view at the front and rear panels. I know there's quite a bit here. So left to right, power LED, the internet LED, the Ethernet LEDs, and then the Wi-Fi 2.4 gig LED, and then the WPS option for onboarding your clients. Then there's the DSL LED, the VDSL2 LED, the WAN LAN LED, the USB LED, as well as the 5 gig LED. Then to the right side, we have our powered connector, the USB host connection port, as well as ports 1 through 4 on the 1 gig LAN side in yellow. We do have a reset button that resets back to your settings and not the ZYXEL defaults, as well as the internet port, the optional connection that can be used for a LAN connection, as well as the green DSL. So connecting this, we use a cable with the 2 inner pairs, outer pairs can be utilized for each DSL1 and DSL2 connection. You can select that selection. It does have an auto hunting mode, so it kind of, once it connects, if it's not configured up already, it'll look and train up to those type of connections, whether you have a ADSL, VDSL, single pair, or bonded, it'll correspond to that. And you can change those settings within the user interface and select it for single pair or a bonded connection. With 17A, it gives you that. We've used this for quite some time, from like 100 megabits down, about 40, in some cases 50 megabits upstream. And that's at a zero loop, 1,000 feet lab environment. So your results will kind of change. Obviously, the sweet spot we see is 3,000, 3.5 to 4,000 square feet. And depending on the line quality of that copper connection, your pairs, the results may vary. You could have, anywhere from 40, 50, 60 megabits, even 80 in some cases. The Profile 35B expands out just a bit more, and it gives you that flexibility on a single pair to reach speeds up to 300 megabits and about 50 megabits on the upstream. So it gives you that flexibility. There are vendors out there, and with the DSLAM central office equipment, that do support this as well, whether it's in the blade or built into the integrated all-in-one DSLAM device, can support that. So it's really good and conducive, probably for some more of a multi-dwelling type applications with a shorter loop length, 1,000 feet or a little bit more. You'll get those higher bandwidths out of the 35B option. With noise canceling, there's always that inherent matter that comes up with copper plant, crosstalk and noise and what have you. But in recent years, we have developed the ability with the G.993 to be able to do the self-canceling, or we call vectoring, right? And it's pretty simple to use, and it's built on existing technology that we've kind of already used with a lot of consumer type products. So what happens from your network, from your central office to your subscriber's endpoint, it'll send out and measure how much noise is out there from the CPE device to the central office equipment. Then from there, the central office equipment will go ahead and measure how much of that crosstalk it needs to cancel out. Then it'll generate what they call anti-noise, that it will cancel out that noise and then clean up the line. So it works exactly the same way as those noise canceling headsets that you see when you're traveling. You see people with big headsets and they're in their own little world. Same process, same technology. It has multiple little speakers in there, so it measures how much noise is out there, and then it estimates how much it needs to cancel, and then it goes ahead and injects that anti noise canceling signals to drown out, that background noise of the people and the engines of the airplane, and all you hear is the music really in clarity. So it works the same way. So we're taking a look at the device itself, that WAN flexible port. So you can go from a DSL and then migrate the same device, same SKU to fiber to the home. It's just a transition of cables, and then you can do the remote option within it to change that configuration to allow that to happen. So fairly flexible. But if it's an all true copper environment, no upgrades to fiber to the home, then you have the luxury of 5 ports that you can use for networking. When you do that, then they're all gigabit, so they can all connect and interconnect with those wired devices. So, some devices like set-top boxes, televisions, older computers that don't have Wi-Fi built in, you can utilize that and have up to 5 ports to be able to provide connectivity for those devices. For your service delivery, we provide a service, and we provide what we call the customized configuration. That there are settings that are set up by you, assisted by us and our engineering team, to make sure that your product performs the way you need it to on your network. That way you can have it ready to go, and once you lift it out of your warehouse and into the service truck and out to the subscriber, it's ready to go. You plug in the power and the cables, and it's essentially ready to talk to your central office. Inside that, we'll have the ability to provide specialty services like priority queuing for specific applications, VLAN tagging, whether it's virtual or port-based, as well as multicast delivery. Interface grouping is also a unique feature that allows you to combine specific features, even the Wi-Fi, into certain groups or sets and allow for services to only go to those, as well as the ACP options. So we provide a whole myriad of options available for you for delivery of those services. So creating those custom configurations, we can do that within the VDSL2 CPE to work with your network. Helps you, work together to provide those options that you need. That way, in the event of a power outage or the subscriber presses the reset button, it doesn't go back to our ZYXEL default factory settings. It goes back to your settings that you prescribed. You own that, and we will provide that for you. That way, the products will always have the ability to communicate back home, and less downtime for your subscribers and improved experience for them. And we have the engineering team, our broadband solution engineers, that can assist you through that process of creating your own customized configuration. So other options that we employ is a new option that we have for any port, any service. So here you can go ahead and specific ports with any type of service and provide a filtering to allow only that type of connection to connect to a device via its MAC address, for bridging from that interface, that product or device or service, through the WAN interface. So something that's new, it's available, and it should be available actually throughout our lineup of products with the ZYXEL, whether it's this DSL or going into Ethernet gateways, we'll have that ability to provide that. So with the device itself, we need a lot of extra horsepower to provide that connectivity, and providing a dual core processor allows us to do that. Multiple tasks can be performed, faster response for the user interface, gives you ability to have more connected devices, whether they're wired or wireless, increase the performance for the Wi-Fi, and have a fast connection, which overall has a better experience for your subscribers going forward with this product once it's deployed. The performance, we talked a little bit about the Wi-Fi. Up to 8 radios are built into us. With Wi-Fi 6, increases the performance, the coverage, more connected devices, and the ability of mesh in a carrier-grade service provider model, other than those other retails that have kind of limited features for management. Do have the option of 160 megahertz with the Wi-Fi. On the 5 gig. We can combine and actually bond the two 80 megahertz channels together to create a larger connection or a larger highway, an interstate, if you will, for the wireless. And you really don't see this as much, only in really high-end Wi-Fi 5 devices. And then some, most of the Wi-Fi 6 products will have it. On the ZYXEL side, we have employed this throughout our Wi-Fi 6 portfolio products, which includes the extender, to really provide that high-end connection bridge from one point to another. So you can rely on an end-to-end solution for your Wi-Fi 6 needs with the ZYXEL products that are installed. So the coverage areas to extend it, most cases, 85%, I would say 2,000 square feet, the gateway is all you need. And that DX4510 should provide that coverage, especially with the 8 radios. Now, larger properties for your subscribers, 3,000 square feet, you can add an extender and help provide coverage for those dead spaces. As we go up, 4,000 square feet, 5,000 square feet, you can add up to 3 extenders if you needed to. And again, we provide the daisy chain hop that allows you to extend off extender. So there's roaming points within the home. So the unique thing is the single SSID really helps out. So you have one product, even if you have extenders with all 3 extenders, you still have one SSID that corresponds. So that's all you need to select, and it covers all the bands. On the back of our gateways, we do have a sticker that does show the default SSID that comes with the product. It can be changed too as well if you need to. And then the level of security it's set up with, and the unique randomized password. So each device, each unit that we create, it's going to have its own Wi-Fi password. And then use your device to find that device with the site survey built into those devices and connect to it. Once you connect, all you select is that one SSID. The gateway takes over and manages everything for you, so your subscribers don't have to do anything. It looks at both the 2.4 and 5 gig, analyzes the traffic and how much activity is on there, and it selects the best band and best position to connect to. So if you do have an extender, it could put you on the extender, or it could put you on the gateway, and it may be 2.4 and it may be 5 gig. It's all up to the gateway to decide with all its calculations and algorithms it employs in the mesh to be able to find that. Then the roaming, so you don't have that annoying disassociation from one point and then reassociating to another point and that drop off. It treats it all as one cohesive network. So when you roam around from one point to another, you're not dropping off unless you're at this extreme edge, almost outside of your network where you kind of drop off. So with management, we talk about different techniques, and one of those is joining into this alliance called OpenSync. So OpenSync has been around for a little while with some products, and the ability of providing a cohesive mesh network, just like you see in public arenas where you go to coffee shop or an airport or a hotel, you have that continuous coverage. And the same kind of concept of that is employed, but in a smaller scale within our homes. Taken from the retail market, very successful trends been going on with mesh for quite a while. So you see quite an array of different variants out there. And we sat back in our industry and say, hey, let's bring that same type of environment into our subscriber service provider quality products. So the mesh network really provides that blanket coverage for wireless points. We'll continue to rely on a router, but the router is not just it's just part of the whole network as we add satellite connections throughout the home. And it still utilizes that single SSID and a password. With this, in recent years, we see many people joining together and creating a real cohesive mesh type of environment. Vendors like Plume have gotten together And with the operating systems and OpenSync and providing an ability for integrating more products, different vendors together to be able to provide this cohesive network for the subscribers mesh environment. So for you, it's going to really give you the ability to deliver services very quickly because it's open architecture. You can port in different services. The reporting, the vital statistics, and the telemetry is all recorded from your subscriber's environment to hopefully help prevent issues that arise, as well as the ability to upscale your services. So when you start to grow a little bit more, you need to expand the system. OpenSync can do that with you. So what's in our secret sauce? We're working with Plume, our R&D and their dev team come together to create a embedded agent utilizing our operating system and their OpenSync together and then pouring it into our product. This is the DX4510, the VDSL CPE. So ultimately, it comes down to what we really want to see for our subscribers, the ability to help self-manage their environment and see what's going on. We're taking this integration into our new DX4510, the VDSL2 AX6000 CPE, as well as our extender, the WX3310 that pairs along with it. These are both Wi-Fi 6 enabled devices and allowing that Plume system, if you're utilizing that, to have the app and then see the ZYXEL products inside that app and hopefully they can help manage themselves before, again, picking up the phone and calling your tax center and talking to your CSRs to get some assistance. So taking a look at unboxing, that's what it looks like. Typical provider brown box. You have the product with the quick start guide, as well as the cables, the DSL, the Ethernet, and then the power adapter. And we also provide another additional sticker with the label of the Wi-Fi password and admin. That way, if you do mount it on the wall, because it does have wall mounting, you don't have to take the product down. You can still look at that sticker and get access into the device. To set it up real quickly, cables and the power, make sure you put it in a high position on a desk or a bookcase. Don't put it on the floor. Make sure you have the appropriate cables for your Ethernet devices, plugging them into the device, as well as the DSL, whether it's a single pair or bonded connection. Make sure it's wall plugged in, and then plug in your power adapter into the outlet. As you notice, this device does not employ a power button on the device. So once you plug in the power adapter to the wall outlet, it's going to power on. Once it powers on, you'll notice that green light, the power light, will have some functions. On startup, it's going to blink up and indicate it's doing its self-test. And in the event of an upgrade of firmware, it'll start blinking as well. But if it goes red, then there's some issues there, like the system's failed solid, or blinking, it's going through its upgrade process. The internet light is also a green light. That'll indicate that internet is ready. If it's red, it's not connected to the internet. So that's your indicator to check the settings, make sure the service is up and running and the device is, maybe power cycle. So on the back device, we talked about that label. We do have a QR code option that you can scan with your mobile device and then gain access into the Wi-Fi. You can manually set this up as well. So if your device or you don't have a QR scanner on your phone or laptop, no problem. You can just manually type in the search for the SSID and then type in the password. The preferred method I would use is the WPS. It works really pretty well. Press the button down for about 5 seconds. You'll see that key light flash, and then you just run to your other devices within 2 minutes and connect them on. It's a one-to-one. So if you have a lot of devices, it does take some time, but it's a really true tried method to set up devices easily with a network as well as security involved as well. So here we go into our login option here. Very simple. You'll see the login page, and that's its default address if you haven't changed configurations. The default login for the subscriber is the admin account. It's also a randomized password, so each device that we produce and create has its own unique password as well as the Wi-Fi, so you use that to gain access. This does have a 2-tiered account, so the admin is for your subscribers. The supervisor account is for access fully to the device. So that's reserved for the service providers, something that you don't want to really hand out to your end user subscriber. That will give you access. So to access that, there's a special password, and contact our broadband solution engineering team, or you can reach out to your sales and we'll get you pointed in the right direction to get that set up. Once you're in, we have our nice dashboard interface tiles that you can rearrange in different orders. And you have all your pertinent information at a quick glance from here. So even if you're troubleshooting with your CSRs, they can kind of look to the right-hand side, look for the system info, and they can see how long the device has been up, if it's connected, if the connection is down, and current firmware software version it's available built into the product. Also, there's the Wi-Fi settings that are there, the defaults, as well as guest networking options, and then the LAN settings. This can be rearranged if you want to put it in a different order by clicking on those little black tiles there, and gives you the access to change the view. In the system info, you go inside, you can see all the port interfaces of visual, the what's connected and what's not. Also the name, the current firmware version, how long it's been up, and then all your network information as well as the wireless. The connectivity is actually your DHCP table. So here you can see your wired and wireless devices. You can see on the right-hand side, some of the devices that are up and running, whether they're, like traditional computing laptops, or maybe they're mobile devices, other devices like voice assistants, game consoles, they'll all show up here. You can actually change these by clicking on those devices, and then you can change it. So if it doesn't display it right, you can change it here, like change from game console, or maybe it's a camera or a phone device. You can change and activate or disable those devices from this table. You can also go into the wireless settings and actually use the QR code. It's a button. It's not actually a QR code you scan. You click on that button, and then it gives you either the 2.4 or the 5 gig. Scan that to get the SSID and the password to join in. You also have the options for manual settings to change some of those wireless settings or the password if you want to change it. From the wireless, and we're taking a look specifically at the 5 gigahertz. Here, we're just illustrating the ability of 160 megahertz. That can be set up by selecting the option of the DFS channels. Without DFS channels on, you only get up to 80 megahertz. So it's not broken. Just be aware that you need to go into the other settings, which is already advanced settings, and enable the DFS settings to get that 160 megahertz. If you set this up throughout your wireless network, then you'll have that high-speed connection between your Ethernet router and your extenders, or DSL router and your extenders. In the supervisor mode, you'll have the options to see the TR69 settings. So those of you who do have this option with ACS, you can utilize this by accessing into the supervisor account. In the admin account, you will not see this option. You'll have remote management, but not the TR69. So go ahead and put in your information, select the data model, whether it's 98 or TR181, all your credentials for your ACS server, and then you should be able to see this within your ACS instance. We have a nice interface that conforms to different screens. So we have a multi-screen environment. It'll conform to that. So if it's a tablet or a smartphone, you don't have to pinch or move the screen to enlarge the text. You'll see it displayed properly. You can scroll up and down and make the setting adjustments and see the options. So it works with different operating systems: iOS, Android, Windows, and Chrome. So you don't have any issues there. As well as it's not an app. So it looks nice and sleek, but it's not an app you have to download. It's the internal interface within our device. Then with the MPRO Mesh, we have that ability to go through and provide that mesh environment on the Wi-Fi 6 with our second iteration called MPRO Mesh. Provides the load balancing with band steering and roaming, and also the updated features of the app, the daisy chain, Wi-Fi hop, and the remote access. So you can be at the office, you can be at your relative's home, you can be at the supermarket, and as long as your mobile device has access to the internet, you can jump into your home network and see what's going on and make adjustments. Maybe you want to turn off Wi-Fi for a certain device, you can do that, or enable the guest networking when you're not in front of it. So it has a nice dashboard look and feel, shows you all your connected devices. You can instantly onboard the guest network by utilizing the toggle switch on the front panel. See all your connected devices and click into the device, as well as log into our cloud instance, which we'll maintain for you. So when you have your subscribers wanting remote access into their home network with their DX4510, they can do that. And the ability of easy mesh, so we can do the daisy chain hop, connecting from extender to extender. We connect the extenders with our AX5400 wireless bridge extender companion. This is the WX3310. AX5400, 6 radios are employed in this device, 2 switch LAN ports, so you can connect multiple devices, set-top box, television, anything Ethernet enabled that doesn't have Wi-Fi can become Wi-Fi. You have the desktop mounting option as well as wall mounting, and it supports the MPRO Mesh that we just talked about, and it includes the ability of TR69 remote management. So you can manage this device because you're going to have clients that are connecting to extender if it's deployed, and you want to be able to see that through your ACS as well as the DX4510. So Rochelle, let's go to our last poll question here.
All right, for our last poll, what are the key features that you look for in a DSL CPE? High performing Wi-Fi, capacity for connected devices, ease of installation and use, or device management options. So far, we have high performing and ease of installation.
Yeah, these guys want performance. That's good.
Yeah.
A little bit of management. Okay,
Mhm.
good. Capacity, not so much. Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Thank you, guys. And the winner is high performing Wi-Fi.
High performing Wi-Fi. Okay, excellent. So that's why everybody's here with DSL and Wi-Fi 6. Excellent. Okay, so now let's go ahead and continue. So managing those Wi-Fi expectations, right? It hasn't really changed from Wi-Fi 4 or Wi-Fi 5 and even Wi-Fi 6. Right? We still have the same requirements, needs, and expectations from the subscribers. So managing this, there's a lot of facets here, right? So monitoring the connected devices, there's routine maintenance like updates of the password, they forgot it, adding the guest network, adding a new device, providing some instant troubleshooting, and then Wi-Fi parental control. So all these are things that subscribers will need, and they will call in, and in some cases say, "Hey, I just want somebody to come over to the house and fix this." Right? And obviously, we know it can be a daunting task, as well as a costly. So no need to really get into the gateway anymore with remote management and the TR69 system with ACS. We should be able to do a lot of these routine maintenance items, obviously, without having to be in front of that device physically. We already have given the subscriber the ability to see what's going on, and we can utilize tools like TR69 and Broadband for Inspect to be able to get in there and do those routine maintenance things like update the firmwares, change configurations, even reboot the device when needed. In some cases, we have to do that. And you don't want to send a truck out. It's going to cost a lot of money just to do, and then have to play phone tag with the subscriber to be able to gain entry into the home. Also, with a lot of you who are looking at funding, you got requirements to report into the federal government, right? The FCC. And having a product that can do that, we do support that, up to 1 gig and giving you that real wired line speeds, 850, 900 megabits. VDSL2, a little bit different. There's some stipulations. We don't really see speeds beyond that 400. So the ability to do speed testing is already built into it. You don't have to worry. Just check with your ACS vendor to make sure that they support the ability to do that. Then in the future, we're going to see a lot. We already talked about a lot of those smart devices, the IoT, right? And being able to manage those. How do you do that? Because they're not traditionally TR69 client devices. But building upon TR181 and then what we call the next version of that, which is TR369 User Services Platform, gives you that ability to do that, builds upon the device, looks at all its attributes and its interfaces, and kind of gives you an idea of what's going on with it and how to create a profile to manage it. And that's what's the unique feature about it, because we see this coming. There's no real cohesive standard for all these IoT devices, but having some at least ability to manage some of this is important. Even though it's a coffee maker, a door sensor, a thermostat, they are still have some intelligence, and you want to manage those. So we do work with a network of ACS vendors, a wide variety in some of these names. Obviously, you probably already employing, but there are others out there, and we encourage you to, if you're into the market of looking, definitely look out, reach out. We'll be there by your side with our product to ensure that it works. On the top end, we do support broadband forum spec TR69, so we follow those standards. So that way, the interop is pretty minimal with these vendors, and it only comes down to some of their proprietary items that they enhance within their system that will do the interop and make sure our products work well with them. And we have great relationship with each of these vendors. So let's go ahead and go to our Q&A session, Rochelle. Let's see what's going on, if anybody has any.
Yeah, we do have a couple questions, or more than that, rather. All right, for the first one, will the DX4510 have support for Plume and OpenSync?
Yes, that's a great question. So the reason why we talked about that, because we are planning to do that. We are going to integrate the OpenSync embedded agent into our platform as well, and provide that connectivity and support for Wi-Fi mesh. Timetable, we're looking towards probably towards the fourth quarter end of the year to do that. We already have a few products in the pipeline right now that we're starting to kick that off with. So once those first initial ones are done, we will be able to roll into the VDSL2 and the DX4510. Great question.
All right, for the second question, are you able to use Plume and your mobile app at the same time with DX4510?
Yes, that's a great question. So people will ask that. Typically, you're not physically touching each app at the same time, but they can run in conjunction. So if you're using the Open Plume app, you can see your devices, but you can also open up the ZYXEL MPRO app and also see those devices as well. So you can have connectivity and access. It shouldn't be a problem. That's a great question.
Okay, for the next one, what DSLAMs have you tested against with your DX4510?
Oh, okay, so that's a really good question. Always interop and with the DSLAM vendors. So currently right now, our DSL platform is pretty consistent with some of the Wi-Fi 5, and then our single port VMG 4005 also employ the same VDSL technology and secret sauce under there. So the interop is going to work pretty well with that, I would imagine, and comes down to, just like anything in our industry, end-to-end chipset solution. And a lot of the central office DSLAMs do employ Broadcom-based chipsets. So that's what we're kind of using with our VDSL2. So the end-to-end is kind of work quite well. Since it's a pretty new platform, we've tested against some of the major players. I won't name their names, but obviously you have an idea of those. So the interop is going to be pretty well. We have some trials already going out to our customers. We have sent these evaluation products, which anybody who's interested, please reach out to the sales team to request an evaluation, and we'll get those units sent out to you for testing. So we're looking at anticipating good results. Our results have been working quite well. We had our engineering team test and verify the firmware, and it's all ready to go. So I would say, on a whole, our interop program with other vendors of DSLAMs is going to work quite well. Great question.
Wonderful. All right, for the last question, does the DX4510 support FCC performance testing?
Yes, that's also very important for a lot of people, and we do support that. We do support the TR broadband performance spec TR 143 to be able to do performance testing. Again, on the DSL interface, really not going to see speeds, go beyond 400 megabits, right? You got to be a zero loop, and even if you're using the 35B profile, you're not really going to get those kind of achievable rates. So up to 400 megabits, that's perfect for DSL. Real world, we're talking 3,000, 4,000 square feet, 40-ish megs, all the way up to maybe 80 or so, depending on your loop and quality. That's what we're going to see. And then you can report back on your services. So no issues, nothing you need to enable within the ZYXEL. All you have to do is make sure that the TR69 settings are set up, and then the ACS is compatible and can utilize the TR143 to get those initial performance testing. Good question. So, all right. Excellent questions. Thank you, Rochelle. That was really good. Appreciate it. If you do have more questions, please reach out to us and we'll address those. Rochelle, it's time for our summer celebration and announce our attendee and winner for this great product, this great giveaway here.
Yeah, this is my favorite part. The winner for the barbecue grill is Ryan Leaders.
All right. Congratulations.
Ryan.
I'm pretty jealous. Look at that thing. You're going to have some fun this summer, I hope.
Yes, perfect for summer. Back to you, Patrick.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Rochelle. Really appreciate that. And thanks for everybody attending to be able to get that option. So final check here and some of our available resources. Our website's changed a little bit. So make sure you go to the right-hand side where it says service providers, click on that blue link arrow, and you'll get into our homepage. And then from there, you can get more information about the DX4510, the AX6000 Wi-Fi 6 VDSL2 bonding gateway. See the description, you get all the product specifications, product images, if you haven't seen it before until today. Also, you can download the quick start guide and the data sheet that goes in more detail about the product. Also, if you are part of the ZYXEL family and you have products or you want to get into the family, go ahead and register on our Broadband Form Engineer site. This will have all the firmwares and documentation for service providers. This is something that's not part of the regular ZYXEL website, so you have to register, and then you can log in 24/7 and get the latest firmwares that are available. You can also create updates, so that way, whenever a new firmware is released, you'll get a notification in your inbox and say, "Oh, I got to go check this out," and then maybe download it, test it, and then something that you want to deploy. Also, reach out to the sales team for your questions, inquiries, also your opportunities. Contact us at broadband@zyxel.com, or if you know your sales account manager, go ahead and contact them, whether it's in the third tier or the direct Canadian and vertical markets. You can contact these individuals here. As well as where to buy ZYXEL. Well, if you're part of our distribution network, you can get them, our products and this DX4510 from Border States, CSSA, KGB Co., Graybar, Power Intel, Walker & Associates, and our new Wincom Technologies partner we brought on. In Canada, exclusively partner network is Graybar, Hall Telecommunications, KGB Co., Power Intel, and Wincom Technologies. All right, so thank you very much, Rochelle. Thanks, everybody, for taking your time and interest with us. You can reach out to us at broadband@zyxel.com or myself at patrickm@zyxel.com. Also, follow us on social media at those social media outlets. We'd like to hear from you. Please follow us. And I hope you have a wonderful and safe day and exciting summer celebration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick. That wraps up our webinar for today, and hope you guys have a great 4th of July weekend, and congratulations again to Ryan Leaders. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.